Hi everyone. So is my voice is audible? Can anyone please confirm on the chat? Okay. So we'll wait for a few more time, few more minutes. Okay. So let's see others to be joined. Okay, Muhammad Sadiq. Hi. Yes. Oh, hi, Lukman. How are you? Let's wait for a few more guys. 1 second, guys. Sorry guys, I think I'm talking in mute. Okay, so let's wait for 3 more minutes, 2 more minutes. So 4:20 we will be start. Hi, technical shake. Thanks for joining. Hi, hi. Hi guys, we have 2 more minutes. Okay, so once we reach to around 4:20, so we'll start the topic. So as we discussed, that today's live session is regarding the VTP VLAN trunking protocol. So why we required VTP, and so how much it is important in the production networks and the live infrastructure. So that we are going to be discuss. Okay. In between, if you have any other doubts related to the network or security things, just post me so that I can. Hi Sunny, hi. How are you? Nice to see you. Yeah, same here, buddy. Okay. Hey, hi Aris. Okay, big fan of you teaching, bro. I love the way you are explaining the topic. Hey, thanks, buddy. Aris, Kannada. Same here. 1 more minute, guys, to start the session. We'll discuss in detail what exactly we are going to do. Okay. Please share important questions, sir, after the session. Yeah, sure, buddy, Lukman. So we'll share that. So you don't want to be bother about that. Okay. So once you completed this session, right? So you will get all the important things. I'll make you pro. Yes, guys. Let me start. Okay. So we have enough members. We'll start the session. So 18, 15. Jabiullah Sheikh. How to crack the interview? Please give me some suggestions. Okay. Sai Kumar, if you open Amazon or Flipkart, how is a model is going to be work inside the applications? So Sai and Zabiullah, we will take your questions. Okay. So once I done with this, right? So once we're done with the session, we are going to be take your questions. Nothing to be worry. Okay. And any other questions? Like, let me share my screen, guys. Okay. So can anyone confirm just see if you're able to see, like, see, you are able to see watch my screen, right? Able to see my screen, right? So that before I explain, so I just want to be get a clarity from you guys. Can I have see some suggestions? Okay, how to crack the interview? Okay, fine. Will let you know on that part. Okay, screen is visible, sir. Okay, chalo. So guys, thanks for joining Network Ninja, the live session. So here we are the technical guys. So we join here to discuss about the topics, like see whatever the topics we have, the different topics in the networking, right? So every day, every week, we will try to give the like a demo session, like or else like the live session. So, what is the agenda of today's session? Is that today's session agenda is what is VTP? So, we are going to be deep dive into the VTP topic, VTP, VLAN trunking protocol. So, before understanding the what is exactly the VTP, okay, so we should know what is VLAN, guys. So, I hope everyone know about the VLAN, right? So, everyone knows about the VLAN. VLAN stands for Virtual Local Area Network. Virtual Local Area Network. Okay, VLAN stands for Virtual Local Area Network, virtual LAN, or some used to be called as a virtual LAN, like virtual LAN. See, why we require VLAN? So by default, see, whenever you are going to purchase order a device, okay. So once you order a device from the Cisco or any OEM, so first we need to know what is OEM, right? OEM stands for Original Equipment Manufacturer. So once you buy, order a device, especially a Cisco, like layer 2 or layer 3 switches, so your switch will be in your production, like it used to come to your place, right? So this is your switch, guys. This is your switch. So if you order 24 ports or the 48 ports of switches, so all we have this many are like based on your ports, so we have the switches, right? So by default, once you receive the switch, right? So if it is a manageable switch, then you used to take the access from with the help of console cable. Like every switch will have a console port, right? Console port. So based on this console port, your system in your laptop should have any kind of emulator with the help of putty you are trying to access for the first time to this particular device, and the username and the password is no. So actually, by default, there is no username and password in the Cisco's devices, right? So you are trying to access this device. So when you see, right, show VLAN with the help of this command, show VLAN or show show VLAN brief, you will see all your 48 ports, right? So all your 48 ports are in a single broadcast domain. By default, all the ports are in a VLAN 1, which means all the ports are in a single broadcast domain. So all the ports are in a single broadcast domain. What is going to be happen if all the ports are in a single broadcast domain? So consider this is our PCs. Okay, few of the users are sitting in your LAN network. So if it is all the 48 ports are in a single broadcast domain. So if one of the PC, this is my PC1 and PC2, PC3. If PC1 generates some traffic, right? So that frame used to be go to the switch. So this switch is going to be broadcast in all the 48 ports, all the remaining 47 ports. So if you have a 48 ports of switches, so if one PC is connected, remaining 47 ports, it used to be forward all the traffic, guys. So that is what the broadcast domain. So that due to the broadcast, if all the ports are in a single broadcast domain, so you are going to be waste your bandwidth. You are going to be waste your bandwidth. This is also the like the important thing which in every interview, like when you're trying to attend the interview, right? Like the L1 layer 1, like L1 and the L2 level of interview, they're definitely going to ask the question. So we have all the ports are in a single broadcast domain, right? What is the disadvantage of having all the ports in a single broadcast domain? So if all the ports are in a single broadcast domain, so whatever the traffic is going to be received on this particular switch, right? So that switch is going to be broadcast in that single large broadcast domain. So remaining all the 47 ports. Then if you don't configure, if you don't segregate this particular physical network in a multiple virtual networks, then there is no use of switch. Actually, hub also going to do the same work. Hub is also going to do the same work. It's a broadcast device, but hub is going to be support only half duplex, but whereas switch is going to be support full duplex as well as half duplex, right? So all the ports are in a single broadcast domains, guys. So with the help of VLAN concept, we are going to divide this large or a single broadcast domain into a multiple broadcast domains, due to which, so whatever the traffic is going towards your switch, right, that traffic will be broadcasted or unicasted under that same domain. It's not going to be crossed to the other domain. It's not going to be cross other domain. So that is what the use and helpful. With the help of VLAN, we are going to segregate a large broadcast domain into a multiple broadcast domains, right? So now consider, till now the story is fine. So we know that how to configure the VLANs, okay, and we know what is the total range of the VLAN, 124094. Okay, this is the total range of the VLAN. Clear. We know CCNA, like basic CCNA, we know basic networking. So we know this is the total range of the VLAN. So here in this total range of the VLAN, we have a standard VLANs and extended VLAN also. That also you need to be remember, because in every interview they are going to like examine your knowledge. So how far the candidate is going to be understand, how far the candidate is able to understand and able to answer, right? So this is what the total range of the VLANs. But however, since from 1 to 1001, this is your standard VLANs, guys, that you need to be remember. Standard VLANs we used to call as a standard VLANs. So in between 10022 to 1005, this is your like a reserve for FDDI services, FDDI services, and the token ring services. So here you will start again 1006 to 4094. This is your extended VLAN range. This is your extended VLAN range. So we covered about the VLANs, right? So what is the standard VLAN, extended VLAN, and the reserve VLANs? So if you know this concept, see, if you know the basic fundamental, what is really the broadcast, like what is sorry, what is broadcast domain, what is a unicast, what is multicast, right? And if you're familiar with these topics, right, then you jump to here, like understand what is exactly the VLAN and total range of the VLAN, what is standard VLAN, extended VLAN, and the FDDI, the reserve services. These are the going to be reserved in your VLAN. So if you want to verify this, right, so you need to be logging into the your device, this particular switch. In this switch you need to be run the command show VLAN or show VLAN brief. So by using this commands are in a privilege mode, you are going to be by using this commands, right, in the privilege mode, you are going to be you are going to know that okay, how many, what is really the standard VLAN. So what s- VLANs are going to be reserved for FDDA and token ring services, and as well as extended VLAN. So hope it is clear, right? So till here everyone knows that, because we know the CCNA, we know the things. So now my concern is, see, now the engineers concern is really the L2 engineers or the LT engineers. So in our infrastructure we have 100 switches, guys. We have 100 switches. So if you have 100 switches, right, so VLAN 10 we are going to create for sales users, and VLAN, let me write down here, and VLAN 20 we are going to create for IT users, and VLAN 30 we are going to create for data VLAN, and VLAN 40 for like Vivo IP voice VLAN, and VLAN 50 we are going to use for the MGMT management purpose. So we need to create this particular VLANs in all the 100 switches. Then what exactly is going to like what technology is going to help now? So we have the 100. See, if you have only one switch, right, only one switch, then it is easy. You can take console access or you can take SSH access. You can able to configure all these VLANs in a single switch in a single shot. But the thing is, if you have hundreds of switches in your production network, if you have 100 of switches in your production network, so how the network, like the switches also be like a core layer, distribution layer, and the access layer, right? In the core layer, this is also very important point in the interview perspective. In the core layer, definitely if you have the data center switches, guys, okay, so if you have a data center, in data center mostly you will see the nexus switches, NSOS, like Nexus switches as a in core layer. If you have like, if you have the if you don't have like even in the core layer and the distribution layer, core layer and the distribution layer, you will see the layer 3 layer 3 switches, and in the access layer you will see the layer 2 switches, guys, layer 2 switches. So in core layer, see here in the core layer, layer 3 switches are, it could be a nexus switch or it could be a catalyst switch. So you should be remember, even though if you guys are like having experience 4 years 5 years, but they don't know what exactly the switches are going to be used in which network, in the exactly in the core layer or the distribution layer, right? So the better thing is, okay, To understand we need to be understand on which layer which kind of devices are going to be used, right? In the core layer and the distribution layer, it could be a layer 3 switch, because in the layer 3 switches are going to be support for your routing and the switching functionalities. And in the access layer, definitely we are going to use the layer 2 switches, because there we need to do the most of the kind of like layer 2 VLANs. So we are going to segregate the traffic based on the VLANs, right? So this is what the overview. So if you have the hundred of switches in your production network, so we know how to configure a single switch. But if you have 100 of switches in your production network, so this many VLANs you need to be configured, then the VTP topic is going to be help you. So I explain you first what is VLAN, right? So if you have 100 of switches, then how you need to be implement in the production network. That also I'm explaining you. I'm trying to explain you guys. Okay. So now what is VTP? So we have the only 100 switches. So how VTP is going to be help in our production network? So how VTP is going to work in our production network? Means this is a very important point now. So VTP stands for VLAN trunking protocol. VTP stands for VLAN trunking protocol. VLAN trunking protocol. Okay, so it is a Cisco's proprietary protocol, and it is going to be work in a layer 2, like a layer 2 switches, guys. It is going to be work in a layer 2 switches. So let me tell you the example how really it is going to help you in the production networks. So we will discuss about this what is VTP, and we will discuss what is the different modes are available in the VTP, and the versions of VTP, and the configurational syntax, and the verification. Even I missed something like the verification of VTP we will going to discuss in this session. So let me draw a topology so that you will be understand. Now we have few switches. So this is my switch 1. Okay. Okay, let me take in this way. This is our switch 3, guys. Okay. Switch 1, switch 2, and switch 3. So all the switches are having 48 ports. All the switches are having 48 ports. Now see, this switch is in my floor 1. This switch is in floor 2. This switch in floor 3. Clear? So we have a three different floors: floor 1, floor 2, and floor 3. So all the switches are going to be connected with each other. Going to be connected with each other. Like, so I'm going to use here like a gig 1/48 port number. Here also gig 1/47 towards this port, and from here, from the another port, I'm going to connect this switch. Like here gig 1/48. Here also gig 1/48. So till here clear, right? So between the each switches, so we have the few floors like floor 1, floor 2, floor 3. And my requirement, my senior has suggested me to configure like 20 VLANs in each switch. In each switches, floor 1 switch and floor 2 switch and the floor 3 switch, we need to be configured. That is what the requirement. Like the 20 things are going to be 20 things need to be configured. 20 VLANs need to be configured in each and every switch. So I can configure like this. Like, see, I just connect with the console cable. I can connect with the console cable, and take the putty access here. So I'll start configuring in this switch the 20 VLANs. Then again I'll go here in the floor 2. I can take again the console access. Even I can configure 20 VLANs here. Then once I done with floor 2, then I'll log in into the floor 3 switch. I'll take for the first time. I'll configure the 20 VLANs here as well. I'll take the console access. It would be a bit difficult and the time consuming process. So for that, a VTP is really going to help you. VTP is really going to help you in this scenario. So we'll discuss about like how VTP is going to be help in this scenario. For the first point is VTP. What is VTP? VTP stands for VLAN trunking protocol, right? VTP stands for VLAN trunking protocol. VLAN trunking protocol. VTP stands for VLAN trunking protocol. Okay, it maintains the VLAN information consistency in throughout the all your network, throughout your all network. Consider this is your switch one, guys. Okay, so I'll take the other pen so that you will be remember easily. So this is my switch one, right? This is my switch two. Likewise, this is my switch 30. So in between switch two to switch like 30, we have the other switches as well. So with the help of VTP, we can configure the VLANs. We can configure the VLANs in the core switch. Okay. That same VLAN database is going to be synchronized with till your all the switches, till your all the switches. So that is what the VTP is going to be make you familiar. Like that is how the VTP concept is going to be help you in the production infrastructure. So VTP is the Cisco's proprietary protocol. It is going to be create or the maintain the VLAN database or VLAN configuration consistency throughout your network, right? It provides the VLAN tracking as well. So if you create here VLAN 10 and the VLAN 20, right? So that same VLAN 10 and VLAN 20 is going to be populated on this particular switch, like VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. That same information is going to be populated here as well, right? So definitely the VLAN is like VTP is the very useful and the helpful, very helpful and the very useful tool in the production networks. But there are few conditions, guys. To configure before configuring the VTP, we need to be consider few of the points. That points are like this is my switch one, right? And I have a switch two here. Till there I have a switch 30 also. Between switch one and switch two, we need to configure a trunk. We need to configure a trunk. That is the very first point we need to be consider in every organization when you are going to configure the VTP, like VLAN trunking protocol. The first thing, between the switches, whichever wherever the connectivity is there, right? Switch one to switch two or switch two to switch three, on that particular ports you need to be configure the trunk first thing, right? The very first requirement is you need to configure as a trunk. Then then you need to specify what exactly the which version you are going to be configured, and the what is the domain name. Like every organization will have a domain name, right? So my organization will have a domain name is ninja.com. Ninja.com, this is my domain name, guys. This is my domain name, ninja.com. So every switch will have a same domain name. So here also I need to configure the domain name like as a ninja.com. The same thing here I need to configure ninja.com here as well. Even in the switch 3 also I need to configure the ninja.com. So domain name should be case sensitive in all the switches. The domain name has to be matched, the second requirement. And the third requirement is if you configure the password. Okay, so if you configure the authentication, like the password, it is going to be support the authentication as well. If you configure the password, guys, so the same password has to be matched in all the switches, all the switches. I'll note down here like password will give ninja here as well, here as well. So what is the requirement? The very first requirement is we need to be configured trunk between the links, trunk between the switches. And the second thing you need to be configured like the domain name. Domain name has to be matched in all the switches, and it is a case sensitive domain name. The third thing is like if you configure the authentication or the password, right? We can call as a password. So that same password has to be matched in the all the devices. And the fourth requirement is, so what is the fourth requirement to configure the VTP? The fourth requirement is by default, guys, every switch by default, every switch 1, switch 2, switch till switch 30, every switch, once you get the switch from the Cisco, right? Like from here, so you order the switch, right, with your OEM Cisco, and you receive the switch in your production network. If you check here, show VTP, so every switch will be in a server mode only. Every switch in the server mode. So that also you need to be changed, guys. So that's why I mentioned here what is VTP and the different modes in the VTP and the VTP versions, right? And the configurational syntax. So the fourth requirement here is we need to specify the like whether it is a server, client, or the transparent. So by default all the switches are in a server mode. By default all the switches in a mode server mode. So we need to specify here the mode as well. We need to specify mode, whether it is a server or client or transparent. We will discuss in a moment what is server, what is client, and the transparent as well. So this is what the requirement to configure the VTP VLAN trunking protocol. So what exactly VTP? VTP stands for VLAN trunking protocol, right? To configure the VLAN trunking protocol. Okay, what exactly the VTP is going to be help? VTP is a Cisco's proprietary protocol, which means it is going to be work only on the Cisco's devices, only on the Cisco switches. So if you have the Cisco switches, then only it is going to be work, or else it is not going to be work between the Cisco and non-Cisco devices. Consider this is your Cisco switch and this is your like a non-Cisco switch, then the VTP is not going to be work. The VTP is not going to be work. So it, as it is a Cisco's proprietary, it is only going to be work in the Cisco's protocol. Likewise, see in the dynamic routing protocols, we studied about the dynamic routing protocols also, right? We have the in dynamic routing protocol, we have the EIGRP, and we have the OSPF. OSPF is the open standard protocol, like see IEEE open standard protocol. EIGRP is the proprietary guys actually, because if you see in the Palo Alto firewall, so if you check in the Palo Alto firewall, you don't have an option to configure the EIGRP. EIGRP is going to support in Cisco's devices only. So that's why EIGRP is the proprietary protocol. Likewise, VTP also a proprietary protocol. VLAN trunking protocol is also be a proprietary protocol, which is going to be work only on the VLAN database configuration consistency throughout our network, right? Throughout our network, and it is going to be reduce the administrative work, administrator work actually, or the network engineer layer 1 or L1 or L2 engineers work. Because if we discuss, right, so if you have a hundred of switches, so to configure the VTP on all the hundred of switches, like to configure the VLANs in all the hundred of switches, that to 20 VLANs, it definitely consume the time. So that's the reason we have the VTP VLAN trunking protocol. It is going to maintain the consistency throughout your network of the VLAN database. So you just need to configure in only one switch, whichever the switch you are going to make as a integration with the help of VLAN trunking protocol, with the help of VLAN trunking protocol, that we are going to discuss in a moment. So I hope you guys are clear like what is VTP, right? So what is exactly VTP? Now with the help of VTP we discuss right here. So the thing is in VTP, so we know about what is